Sometimes life feels like it's standing still. You pray, you try, you struggle, but nothing seems to change. Deep inside, you know something is missing. You feel like you're walking the same road again and again, hoping it will take you somewhere new, yet it only takes you back to the same place. My friend, God knows you need a new path, and when He knows, He shows you the signs. Today, I want to share with you something powerful, 8 life-changing keys that will help you step onto a new path, unlock new doors, and find peace where you once felt lost. Don't miss a single one, because each step builds on the other, and by the end you'll see the journey clearly before you. 1. Listen to the silent whispers of your heart. There comes a time when the noise of the world becomes so loud that you can no longer hear yourself. Every direction you look, people are telling you who to be, what to do, and how to live. But the truth is, deep inside you there is a voice, a whisper that carries the answers you've been searching for. That voice is often soft, it doesn't shout, it doesn't demand, but it speaks with clarity when you choose to silence the world and listen. Many people ignore this whisper because they are too busy chasing what others expect of them. They drown themselves in distractions, in endless scrolling, in meaningless conversations, never realizing that the very guidance they are longing for has always been inside their own hearts. Listening to the heart requires courage, because it often tells you what you don't want to hear. It may guide you away from comfort, away from people you thought were permanent, and toward a path that feels uncertain. But the heart does not lie. It carries truth that the mind tries to resist. You may think you need to stay in a situation because it looks stable, but your heart tells you that your soul is dying inside it. You may think you need to please everyone around you, but your heart whispers that you were not created to be a servant of people's opinions. The whispers of the heart are often reminders from your Creator. They push you toward what aligns with your soul and away from what destroys your peace. When you take time in silence, whether in prayer, reflection, or simply stepping away from distractions, you begin to hear it more clearly. The more you ignore it, the fainter it becomes, until one day you feel empty and lost. But when you choose to listen, to pause, to honor what your heart is saying, you begin to align yourself with the path meant for you. Many of us live years carrying regrets because we silenced the heart and followed the crowd. We worked jobs we hated, stayed in relationships that broke us, lived in ways that didn't reflect our truth. But the moment you decide to trust that inner whisper, you begin to take control of your journey. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it, because your heart knows the path that your soul was created to walk. 2. Let go of what no longer serves your peace. One of the heaviest burdens we carry in life is holding on to things that no longer serve us. We hold on to people who drain us, habits that weaken us, and memories that haunt us. We convince ourselves that letting go will break us, but in reality, holding on is what's breaking us. Think of a person holding on to a rope that is burning their hands. The longer they grip it, the deeper the wound. Yet many choose to keep holding because they fear the emptiness of release. True growth begins when you learn that peace is more valuable than comfort, and letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. There are relationships you know are not good for your soul, yet you cling to them because of history or fear of being alone. There are habits you continue even though you know they steal your time, your energy, and your dignity. There are grudges and wounds from the past that you keep replaying in your mind as if reliving them will somehow change what has already been written. But in truth, every moment you carry these weights, you deny yourself the lightness of peace. Letting go doesn't mean you don't care anymore. And it doesn't mean forgetting. It means you value your well-being enough to release what is no longer aligned with your future. It means trusting that what is meant for you will never leave you, and what has left you was never meant to stay. Peace cannot enter a heart that is cluttered with bitterness, attachment, and unnecessary burdens. Just as a house must be cleared before it can be filled with new blessings, your heart must be emptied of its toxins before it can welcome serenity. Some people mistake letting go for running away, but the truth is, letting go is harder than holding on. It requires strength to walk away from what is familiar, discipline to break cycles that no longer serve you, and faith to trust that God will replace what you release with something better. Every time you let go of what harms your peace, you make space for something greater. The world may not understand your decision, and people may even criticize you, but you are not living for them. You are living for the sake of your own soul, and a soul that learns the art of release becomes free to walk a new path without the chains of the past holding it back. 3. Break the cycle of repeating mistakes. Life has a way of teaching us the same lesson until we finally learn it. Many people wonder why they keep facing the same disappointments, the same heartbreaks, and the same failures over and over again. The truth is, until you break the cycle of repeating mistakes, life will keep circling you back to the same point. You cannot expect change if your choices remain the same. A new path requires new decisions, and new decisions require awareness. The first step in breaking a cycle is recognizing that you are in one. Some people deny it, they blame others, they call it bad luck, but deep inside they know the problem isn't the world, it's the choices they continue to make. Repeating mistakes often comes from ignoring the lessons that were hidden in the past. A failed relationship teaches you about red flags, about your worth, about your boundaries. Yet, if you ignore those lessons and enter the next relationship blind, you repeat the pain. Financial struggles teach you discipline, patience, and the value of planning. But if you rush again into careless spending, the same stress follows you. Every hardship you go through carries wisdom, but it is only useful if you apply it. Otherwise, life will simply keep returning the same test until you pass it. Breaking cycles also means confronting your habits. Many people sabotage their own progress, not because they lack ability, but because they cling to comfort. They know procrastination wastes their time, but they repeat it daily. They know anger damages relationships, yet they let it control them again and again. Until you become brutally honest with yourself, the pattern will remain. Honesty is the mirror that reveals the truth. You cannot fix what you refuse to acknowledge. The beautiful thing is, cycles can be broken the moment you decide they will no longer control you. You do not need to wait for another failure to wake up. You can choose today to stop walking in circles. Every time you make a conscious decision to respond differently, you weaken the grip of the cycle. It may take effort, it may feel uncomfortable, but discomfort is the birthplace of transformation. Imagine how your life could change if you stopped repeating the same mistakes and started living with awareness, discipline, and courage. The door to a new path doesn't open with wishes, it opens with the choice to stop going back to what keeps breaking you. 4. Seek guidance from the one who never fails. There comes a point in every journey where human effort feels limited. You try your best, you plan, you work, you ask others for advice, yet things still don't go the way you hoped. This is where many people lose themselves. They think they are alone. They believe no one understands, and they start carrying the weight of the world on their own shoulders. But the truth is, there is one who never fails, one who never abandons, one who hears even the whispers of your heart before you speak them. Seeking guidance from your Creator is not a last resort. It is the strongest first step you can ever take. Too often, people turn to everyone else before turning to the one who controls everything. They ask friends for answers, they search for solutions online, they rely on their own logic, but they forget that the one who created the path also knows where it leads. Why search in the dark when the light has always been available to you? When you ask sincerely, when you bow your head with humility, you are not just speaking words, you are opening doors to guidance, clarity, and strength beyond what your mind can comprehend. Guidance comes in many forms. Sometimes it's a feeling in your heart that tells you to walk away from something toxic. Sometimes it's a delay that protects you from harm you cannot see. Sometimes it's a person who enters your life at the exact moment you need them most. But you only recognize these signs when you sincerely seek them. When you put your trust in the one who never fails, even your setbacks become protection and even your rejections become redirections. Seeking guidance also requires patience and trust. We often want immediate answers, but sometimes silence is the answer itself. It teaches you to wait, to grow, to prepare for what is coming. Just because you don't see instant change doesn't mean your prayers are unheard. The timing of your Creator is always perfect, even when it feels delayed to you. Guidance is not just about receiving, it's about trusting. It's about believing that every step you take under His direction is leading you exactly where you are meant to be. And when you allow Him to guide your path, you stop living in fear of what tomorrow holds, because you know the one who holds tomorrow is already guiding you today. 5. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher. The company you keep shapes the direction of your life more than you realize. Human beings absorb energy, whether they are aware of it or not. If you spend your time with those who constantly complain, who speak with negativity, who belittle your dreams, then slowly you begin to adopt the same mindset. Without noticing, their doubts become your doubts, their fears become your fears, and their limitations become your limitations. But when you surround yourself with people who inspire you, who encourage you, who remind you of your potential, you begin to rise higher than you ever thought possible. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Some people only come to take your energy, not to add to it. They thrive when you remain stuck, because your growth makes them uncomfortable. This is why being selective with your circle is an act of self-respect. It is not arrogance to protect your peace, it is wisdom. The right people in your life will never be threatened by your growth. Instead, they will push you, they will celebrate you, they will guide you when you fall. They want to see you win, because your victory does not diminish theirs. Sometimes, it can feel lonely. When you begin to filter your circle, you may lose friends, you may create distance from certain relatives, you may even feel like you're walking alone. But remember, solitude with peace is better than company with toxicity. It is better to walk alone in truth than to walk with many in falsehood. Eventually, when you keep your standards high, the right people will be drawn to you. People who are sincere, who value growth, who remind you of your purpose, these are the ones worth keeping close. Surrounding yourself with uplifting people also means being that person for others. The energy you give is the energy you attract. If you constantly discourage, belittle, or judge, you will attract the same. But when you choose to speak life, to motivate, to support, you create an environment where growth becomes natural. Imagine how far you could go if every voice around you echoed encouragement instead of doubt. Imagine how much lighter your heart would feel if every interaction left you stronger instead of weaker. That is the power of your circle. It can either anchor you to the ground or launch you toward the sky. 6. Replace excuses with small daily actions. Excuses are the silent thieves of progress. They sound convincing in the moment. They give you comfort. They justify your delay, but at the end of the day, they leave you in the same place where you started. How many times have you told yourself, I'll begin tomorrow, or I don't have enough time, or I'm not ready yet? These words may feel harmless, but every excuse builds a wall between you and the life you could be living. Great changes never begin with giant leaps, they begin with small, consistent steps. The power of transformation lies not in waiting for the perfect moment, but in taking imperfect action right now. When you replace excuses with action, you stop waiting for motivation and start creating momentum. Even the smallest effort begins to build strength. Reading 1 page a day may not seem like much, but over a year it turns into entire books that could change your thinking. Walking for 10 minutes may feel insignificant, but over months it transforms your health. Speaking a kind word may seem small, but over time it builds stronger bonds and heals hearts. Excuses magnify the size of the task ahead, but action shrinks it into something you can actually handle. The danger of excuses is that they give you temporary relief while stealing your long-term growth. You tell yourself that life is too busy, but time is always made for what truly matters. You say you are not ready, but readiness comes through starting, not waiting. You tell yourself others have it easier, but comparison blinds you from the power within your own journey. The moment you recognize excuses as lies disguised as comfort, you begin to see how much potential you've been leaving untouched. Replacing excuses with action doesn't mean overloading yourself with impossible goals. It means breaking things down into small daily choices that align with your future. Progress is not about speed, it's about consistency. One drop of water may seem weak, but repeated drops carve valleys into stone. Likewise, your small actions repeated faithfully can carve new paths in your life that excuses would have kept locked forever. Imagine if instead of saying someday you chose to begin today. Imagine the strength, wisdom and transformation you would carry after months of small steps that excuses once prevented you from taking. 7. Strengthen your inner discipline. Discipline is the bridge between intention and reality. Everyone has dreams, everyone has goals, everyone imagines a better version of themselves, but only those with discipline turn those visions into reality. Motivation may ignite the fire, but discipline keeps it burning long after the spark fades. Without discipline, even the greatest talents are wasted. Without discipline, the strongest desires become empty wishes. Discipline is what teaches you to keep moving forward when your emotions try to hold you back, and it is what shapes the life you want into the life you live. Strengthening your inner discipline begins with mastering your small choices. Discipline is not built in grand gestures, it is built in the moments when no one is watching. Waking up when your alarm rings instead of pressing snooze. Choosing to complete a task instead of leaving it for later. Controlling your words when anger tempts you to explode. These are the battles where discipline is either strengthened or weakened. Every decision is a vote for the type of person you are becoming. Each time you choose discipline over desire, you carve strength into your character. The struggle with discipline often comes from relying too much on feelings. Feelings are temporary, they rise and fall like waves. But discipline requires you to act beyond emotion. You may not feel like studying, working out or praying, but discipline tells you to do it regardless. This is the secret of those who achieve greatness. They do not wait to feel ready. They train themselves to act consistently. Over time, discipline transforms into habit, and what once felt heavy becomes natural. Discipline also protects you from self-destruction. It teaches you to say no to temptations that promise quick pleasure but leave long-term regret. It trains you to control your tongue, your desires, and your impulses. Without discipline, people become slaves to their moods and temptations, but with discipline, they master themselves. True freedom does not come from doing whatever you want. It comes from having the strength to control what you should and should not do. When you strengthen your inner discipline, you build trust with yourself. You prove that you can rely on your own word, that you can set a goal and follow through. That trust creates confidence, and confidence builds courage. Every act of discipline adds another brick to the foundation of the person you are destined to become. 8. Trust the timing of your Creator. One of the hardest lessons in life is accepting that not everything will happen when you want it to. You plan, you work, you hope, and yet sometimes doors remain closed. You look at others moving ahead while you feel stuck in the same place, and you begin to wonder if you've been forgotten. But the truth is, nothing in your life is delayed by accident. Every blessing, every opportunity, every breakthrough has a time written for it, and that timing is far wiser than your own. Trusting the timing of your Creator means letting go of frustration and surrendering to the belief that what is meant for you will never pass you by. Delays are not denials, they are protection. Sometimes what you want immediately could harm you if it came too soon. A job you prayed for might have destroyed your peace. A relationship you begged for might have broken your spirit. A dream you chased might have crushed you because you weren't ready to handle its weight. Your Creator sees what you cannot, and His timing ensures that you receive what is best for you in the season you are prepared to handle it. What feels like waiting is often training. It is the refining of your patience, the strengthening of your character, and the shaping of your soul. Trusting divine timing also means refusing to compare your journey with others. Just because someone else received their blessing before you does not mean yours will never come. Every life has its own calendar, and comparing clocks only leads to bitterness. The flower that blooms in spring is not more valuable than the one that blossoms in autumn. They are both beautiful, just in their own time. Likewise, your story unfolds exactly when it is meant to, and no delay can erase what has been written for you. Patience is not passive, it is active faith. It is showing up every day, doing your part, working with sincerity, while trusting that the results will arrive at the appointed time. It is resisting the urge to force outcomes and instead allowing things to fall into place as they are meant to. The most peaceful souls are the ones who release control and place their trust in the one who controls all. When you truly embrace this, you stop living in anxiety about tomorrow, because you know every tomorrow is already accounted for. Trusting the timing of your Creator frees your heart from rushing and teaches you to live with gratitude in the present moment.